Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first episode of Film. And just letting you know what we guys are going to be discussing today, we will be talking about the D23 movie announcements that I find pretty cool, actually. Pretty cool or pretty weird, depends. But before we do, I just wanted to, since this is episode one, want to give a little background of why I'm creating this podcast. So, just letting you all know, huge fan of movies. Huge fan of movies. Sometimes TV shows, not too much. Huge fan of movies. And I have always been, I like social media. Depends, there's good and bad to it, but I really like the exploration and growth of what you make and how popular it can get depending on how good your content is or how consistent you are. But I've always wanted to do something like this. I've always wanted to just talk about movies and give my take on what I think, what I like or dislike, and what you all think too. Like, hopefully in the future I could have people talking to me, giving their takes on different things. We could have a discussion on what we think about it in total. But I've just always wanted to make this, and I'm glad to now. And hopefully this can turn into something. I don't know. I just want to talk about movies. That's the simple fact about it. And just to say, like, if you guys listen to these episodes later on, like, you don't have to be a film geek or film expert in order to listen to this. Like, this is supposed to be just a simple take on stuff you like. You ain't got to know Oscar stuff. You ain't got to be able to be like, oh, well, this camera angle's this way, the lighting was that way. Nah, like, it's just likes and dislikes. Talk about it. Be about it. Be authentic. And let's get into it. So, mentioned earlier, we're talking about D23 movie announcements. There are a couple, or actually a lot, that I liked, and a couple where I'm confused, a couple where I disliked. But let's get into the first movie real quick. Moana 2. Now, this movie was introduced or announced a while ago. It was in development for a while, and it's finally getting a release date, November 27th, 2024. And I only saw the first trailer. I didn't see the second trailer yet, but honestly, I'm excited, man. That music for the first trailer, so good. If you guys haven't listened to the soundtrack for Moana 1, I don't know what you all are doing. If you love Hamilton by Lin-Manuel Miranda, you're going to love this soundtrack. Like, man is a musical genius, and he knows how to capture an environment. And the fact that it's going with this movie, I don't know if he's in charge of the music for Moana 2. I hope he is. But this movie is going to be good, man. Like, it's going to be good. In the trailer, from what I saw, Moana has more responsibility. She's in charge, I believe, of her village or tribe. And she's going on another adventure. I believe a kid is involved too, because now she's older. This movie is taking place 3 years after the first movie. And she's just going to be doing more Moana things. And I think that's cool. Like, part of me doesn't want to see the second trailer because I don't want to be spoiled. I feel like trailers now reveal way too much of the plot and the story of what's going on in the movie. And I liked what the first trailer gave me. It gave me a little glimpses and peeks of what's going to be happening in the future of Moana 2. And I feel like I should just leave it at that. If you guys would want me to react to it on the second trailer, just know I have another YouTube channel called PC3 Nation. I'm debating on making a second channel, Film, and putting stuff on there. But for now, until this grows or gets any traffic, I'm going to keep my reactions on PC3 Nation. Just letting you guys know. Letter P, letter C, the number 3, and Nation. Just like the Fire Nation and Avatar: The Last Airbender. But anyways, yeah, I don't think this movie is going to be, like, super criticized, anything. I don't think it can fail, is basically what I'm trying to say. Like, the fact that we're getting a sequel to Moana, already perfect in my mind. I just need to see it. It doesn't have the crazy expectations like Avatar and Avatar: The Way of Water did. It's just Moana. It's just peace and vibes. So I'm excited. I definitely have it marked down on my calendar, November 27th. Nobody call me. Nobody text me. I'm going to be in that theater. Unless you want to come with me, I'm not doing anything else. But yeah, Moana 2, thumbs up. Now, next movie we're going to be talking about, the live-action Snow White movie. And this movie has been through the ringer. Like, I'm telling you, the news we've been hearing about, the budget, the main actor saying controversial stuff or just being controversial stuff because people have been getting a lot racist with her. Information I got is from the Forbes website because I was trying to figure out what the budget was and it gave me a little more information. But basically, this is a Disney princess movie that had a crazy budget. Like, I believe it went extremely over budget too. And that was a lot of it thanks to the pandemic and reshoots. Like, they had to do a lot of reshoots for certain things. People were saying they didn't like some of the ideas because they changed a lot of this movie. Now, if you guys don't know, there was a movie in the past that came out in 1937 called Snow White, and it was an animated version. And it's greatly, like, everybody loves this movie. Like, everybody loves it. I believe somebody said it won an Oscar. If that's not correct, somebody fact check me. I'll check it again. But everybody loved it. They loved Snow White. They loved the Seven Dwarves. That's characters in the movie. They loved the prince. They loved the evil queen, who is going to be played by Gal Gadot, which is, I don't know. I don't see her as an evil queen, if I'm being for real. I don't see her as an evil queen. But we'll see how she does, because she's Wonder Woman in my eyes. But the main actor for Snow White is going to be Rachel Zegler. And she's been going through it, man. Like, I know she discussed some of the plot and I know what she said about the prince, according to Forbes, was an interesting one. They said that there will be a prince, but Snow White will not be saved by the prince, and the prince will be a whole new character. So, changing his character a little bit, I don't know how drastic it's going to be. Maybe it makes sense to the story, maybe it won't, but we won't see until we see the movie. But I know a lot of people are mad about that. The next change they did, they changed the Seven Dwarves into, I believe, 7 magical creatures. And I know that angered a lot of people because the Seven Dwarves are iconic characters. A lot of people use the Seven Dwarves in Instagram posts, different types of social media posts for moods, because the Seven Dwarves are named after different moods. Grumpy, sleepy, you get the idea. I can't remember all of them. Maybe silly and happy. I don't know, but they are iconic characters that mean a lot to people. And maybe they'll have the 7 magical creatures be the same moods, just not dwarves, but that's a hit that it took. And a lot of people are going in on them about it. I don't know how it's going to be, but maybe it'll be the same. I'm not tripping too much, but it is kind of a weird change. The budget is crazy. They went over budget and it came out to a total of $209 million. But Disney did receive a $41 million back as a reimbursement. So the total cost now was $168 million, which is still a lot for a Disney movie. That's still insanely a lot of money. But hopefully they make a profit off of it. I read in the Forbes article that the movie needs to at least make $336.4 million in order to break even. I don't know how true that is, because you never know. They could make mistakes with budgets and everything. They could even make mistakes on how they recorded the money, but so far that's what's down. So everybody hope for Snow White to make at least $400 million. Maybe it'll even break the box office. Maybe it'll be a $1 billion movie.Maybe it'll be $700 million. To me, $700 million movies are good. Or are in good shape to make profit. I remember somebody tried to say, oh, $600 million, they only made $600 million in the box office? I'm like, you'd be lucky to even make $200 million in the box office sometimes. So, it may go well, may not, but I don't know. I'm going to check out the trailer. I'm going to see what's up. I saw a couple of photos. I think it looks good, but I'm not going to judge it until I see it. I'm not going to judge until I see it. And just in case, let me let you all know, the movie is coming out March 21st, 2025. Now on to the next movie, which I am not totally a fan of because I didn't think this was a smart move, but I'm talking about the live action Lilo and Stitch movie that was just announced. Now, we heard a while ago on Twitter through discussing films that they were in production of making a live action Lilo and Stitch. And at first I was like, please cancel, because the animated movies are so perfect, bro. Like Lilo and Stitch holds a part of my heart that's like, you can't touch it. Like it's like regular show. I wouldn't want to see a live action regular show movie or anything. I just keep it the way it is. It's perfect. Making it a live action movie, I don't know, like I feel like that ruins it. It said, we were told that it's going to be released in summer of 2025, and that's cool. That's nice, but I don't need it. I don't need it. A couple of social media posts showed in the image and video clips of Stitch actually breaking the Disney logo at D23 and giving everyone a first look at the CGI version of Stitch that's going to be in the live action movie. Now, it sounds like Stitch, looks like Stitch, but once again, I just don't like the idea of doing a live action Lilo and Stitch movie. Like, it was perfect. It was fine. The anime movies were perfect. There's no reason to touch it, in my opinion. I'm rewatching them right now. I just saw Lilo and Stitch Sunday before, and it was awesome, man. Like, I still can't get over that movie. It's so good. I'm so surprised that it just has like I think it was a 7 or a 7.5 on IMDb, but maybe it's because of an animated movie. But I gave it an 8. Even though 7.5 rounds out to 8, I just think it deserves an 8 or an 8.5 in my opinion. 8.5 or 8 out of 10, without a doubt. But I don't know how this is going to do. I heard there was stuff about instead of casting the guy who played Bubbles, who was perfect, in my opinion, to play live action Bubbles, they casted somebody else who doesn't really look too much like Bubbles, but it's whatever. The only hope I have for this live action Lilo and Stitch movie is that the action sequences are insane. Like, I'm hoping for a Star Wars level, like J.J. Abrams Star Wars level, like the action scenes, not the story. Maybe Avatar level action scenes. I need something that makes me go, wow, the animated movies were good, but the live action sequences were insane. That's what I'm hoping for. Maybe they can surprise me. Like, I was saying stuff about the live action One Piece movie. I was saying you couldn't do it. Hopefully Lilo and Stitch is the same thing to me. But like I said, y'all, this movie is coming out summer of 2025. On to the next movie. Now, this movie, I don't know why. I feel like I should have said this last, but I'm just going to say it here. This is the movie that I was insanely happy about the making. And it's not a live action. It's actually a continuation of The Incredibles. Yes. Incredibles 3 is officially in development. And Brad Bird, original writer and director of Incredibles 1 and 2, will be writing and directing this one. Now, I love this. I love this news. When I saw the logo pop up and it showed, I think it was the anger emotion from Inside Out, who announced this pretty much at D23. All he said was, "It's incredible," and then boom, we get the Incredible 3 logo. And man, oh man, it's weird because the first Incredibles movie, I loved it. I thought that it was something, like, it's my favorite Disney movie out of them all, in my opinion. And yeah, I got a thing for superheroes, but I just love the story. Like, it's crazy. It's unique. It's interesting. Like, you hear about this superheroes are illegal, and then you get this subplot line of the mother thinking that the superhero father is cheating and having an affair, and then you have these kids who are just insane, like insanely overpowered. Like Dash, I'm not gonna lie, if we had more on him, we're gonna be hearing people say that he's better than the Flash. But And Violet's cool too. Like, she doesn't just turn invisible, she can make force fields, and I think that's super cool. But I just really love The Incredibles. Like, watching that movie for the first time as a kid was insane. I loved Syndrome as the villain. The motivation for it was insane. It was like a fan trying to kill freaking Michael Jordan because Michael Jordan didn't give him an autograph. But it's just so cool. And then in The Incredibles 2, you give us more. Like, I was hoping for a sequel for the longest time, and you give us more. You give us a city, superheroes, this and that. Thinking about this more, I'm just trying to figure out what I want to see differently with this movie. And the only thing I put down that I was wondering was probably just more Dash, Violet, and Jack Jack. Like, just give us more of them. Like, we already know Mr. Incredible. We already know Elastigirl. We already know about them. I feel like this movie should be a passing of the torch. Like, I feel like now we should be getting more of Dash, Violet, and Jack Jack getting older, growing up, getting more responsibility. Because I want this to be more like they're not kids anymore. I want it to be like they're being introduced to actual life. And I want it to be, I just want to see more of them. Because if I'm being for real, I don't know what more they can do, like, after this. Like, Mr. Incredible and Elastigirl, they're getting old. Why not just pass to the kids? It's the same thing. It's the same thing I feel when it came to Bad Boys for Life. Like, I didn't really like that movie too much. I thought the cinematography was insane, if I'm being for real. And if you guys don't know cinematography, I'm talking about the camera work. I'm talking about the way they shot certain action scenes, this and that. I thought the camera angles and stuff was cool. I just didn't like the fact that Will Smith and Martin Lawrence are still being the same cops they are. Like, in my opinion, they need to make them captains, and they need to switch it to Reggie and Will Smith, or Mike Lowry's son. I need to see more of that young group in the Bad Boys series. Like, this is the time I'm going to say it. They need to make a spinoff for Bad Boys. Like, well, I don't know, the Bad Batch or something, or the Bad Squad, I don't know. But they just need to do a passing of the torch. And I feel like for The Incredibles 3, it's the same vibes. But it's not as bad as Mike Lowry and Will Smith and Martin Lawrence still doing cop stuff. Like, I still want to see Elastigirl and Mr. Incredible doing their thing. But, you know, I feel like now is the most important time, or the most proper time, to pass the torch to Dash, Violet, and Jack Jack. And the Mega Motor. They've been what? 13, 14, and then I want to say 3 years old for, I want to say 24 years now, maybe even 25. Just make them older. Put them in high school. Put them in college. Probably high school. I'm going to say high school. Dash and Violet high school. Jack Jack middle school. Do it. But without further ado, I'm excited for The Incredibles 3. And we didn't get a date for when it's coming out, but no matter what, I'm excited. Maybe make a scarier villain. Give me a somewhat Thanos level villain. Make it crazy. But The Incredibles 3 can't fail. It cannot fail. But I'm excited and I can't wait. Now on to the next movie that I'm a little questioning, because the fourth movie, it ended, like, the third movie was already a good ending. The fourth movie was like, okay, ain't gonna be seeing it no more. But this is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Toy Story 5. And I just don't know what, maybe this is a money grab or something, but I don't know what they're gonna do. We got a announcement saying it will be releasing in summer of 2026. So not this summer, but next summer we'll be getting a Toy Story 5. But they're going to be fighting against iPads this time. Not another toy, not a human, iPads. It's going to be, I guess, going to be trying to figure out the electronic world. There's probably going to be references to Angry Birds without a doubt and Cut the Rope. But I don't think they should have continued this. I think they should have finished while it was good. Pull a whole Christopher Nolan. Leave me wanting a sequel as usual. Dark Knight trilogy, Interstellar, Inception, you name it. Christopher Nolan's perfect at leaving us on those notes wondering. I still want a Robin movie, by the way, but let me keep it on track with Toy Story 5. Woody was shown in the sketch idea of the movie, and I thought that was weird because if you all haven't seen Toy Story 4, little spoiler alert here, so you may want to skip over this part. Woody does not die, but he leaves the toys. He leaves the toys. He leaves Buzz. He leaves... forgot her name again. It's been a while. But he leaves pretty much everybody that he knew to chill with Bo Peep as not a lost toy, but a toy free away from the humans. That's how it ended. And if Woody comes back in this one, they're definitely milking these films. They're definitely doing it. And I don't like it. I'm gonna be for real. I don't like it. But yeah, I mean, overall, the Toy Story 5 announcement, it's weird. But maybe they're just trying to speak to a new generation. But in my opinion, you should just make a whole new series about different toys. Like, make a spinoff. Make it about a whole new group of toys. You don't need to show us the same toys over and over again. Make something new. Toy Story 5, make a New Beginnings or something. Make a Pizza Planet. Talk about the toys in Pizza Planet. I don't know. Hearing about Toy Story 5 was just weird to me. But I don't know. This may kill the hype for Toy Story. But yeah, that's all my thoughts on it. Now on to the next movie, which I actually will be trying to watch the movies again because maybe I don't appreciate it because I watched it when I was a kid. But that is Frozen 3. Got an announcement saying it will be releasing in 2027. And if I'm being real, I am not too much of a fan of the Frozen series. I haven't seen the second one. I saw the first one in theaters Thanksgiving when it came out. But, I mean, I thought it was nice. I thought the singing was pretty good. But I guess I just got annoyed with people singing, "Do you want to build a snowman?" and "Let It Go." I got annoyed. But... I'm older now. I'll try to watch the first one again. Try to get a new look to it, new feel to it. But yeah, for now, I'm just not a fan. I think it's cool though for fans of this movie because it has a big following. But Frozen 3, it's gonna be big for them. I don't know what the plot could be because I didn't watch the second one, but just know there's a third one coming out. And that's all I got to say. Forgot the snowman's name in the movie. I thought he was pretty funny when I was watching the first one. But I don't know. All I can say is I will try to watch the second one and understand what the story could possibly be for the third one. I didn't hear too much about what it was going to be. I just saw a picture saying that it was going to be Frozen 3 coming out soon. But just know for you Frozen fans, a third one is coming. On to the next one. Zootopia 2. Releasing on Thanksgiving of next year. Oh boy. Zootopia. I've been waiting on a sequel for this movie for so long. I'm trying to remember the last time I saw the first one. Or not the last time I saw the first one, but when the first one came out. That was probably I want to say my sophomore year of high school. Maybe even freshman year of high school. And I was watching that movie right before I was trying to go to the beach. But man, Zootopia was such a good movie. Such a good lesson. Such a good idea on how to show kids how not to be racist. It was just such a cool movie. I didn't know Disney could be like that. It was just so cool to me and it meant a lot. And I'm glad they're making this sequel. Ke Huy Quan. I don't know. I think I said that definitely wrong, and I apologize if I did. But he will be in this movie, and he will be playing a snake named Gary. Now, I don't know if he's going to be playing a criminal or not, but my boy Ke Huy Quan, I love him. I loved him in Everything Everywhere All at Once. I loved him in The Goonies. I loved him in Indiana Jones, The Temple of Doom. He's such a good actor. And the fact that when we heard that he wasn't really getting acting roles, and he was about to quit, I was sad, man. I was really sad. I'm so glad that he came back in Everything Everywhere All at Once. And now he's getting every movie role known to man, and I'm happy for him. I hope he gets every one. I don't care. But I'm glad he's back. I'm glad he's in Zootopia, the sequel. And I just hope that he continues on this reign real quick. I do not know what this one could possibly be about, but I am excited for whatever they show me. Now, give me another conspiracy. Give me another, maybe just a underground clan or something that's controlling the city. Give me some surprising stuff that's going to blow my mind again. Like, show me as many conspiracies as possible. Show me something evil going on in the city of Zootopia. Show me maybe even another place that's next to Zootopia that's interfering with the progress of the city. But just keep growing on what you built. Keep growing on it and show me something cool. I hope to see another misleading scandal and an even bigger mystery to solve in the sequel. If they can give me a mystery to solve, I'll be happy. But like I said, this is giving me same vibes as Moana 2. And I don't think it can fail. Everybody's been waiting for the sequel for a long time, and I'm excited for it. On to the next movie. Next, we have a movie that I think is going to actually speak to a lot of people. A lot of kids like me are actually adults like me that live this kid's life a little bit if they have parents like this. And that is the movie Elio, which is going to be a Pixar Disney movie. Or, just an animated Disney movie. My bad, I got to burp real quick. Excuse me. This movie will be releasing summer of 2025. And I remember actually watching a teaser trailer for this movie in theaters. And I thought, dang, I'm this kid, bro. I was this kid. Now, if you guys don't know, I got a mom. And there were times when I wanted to hang out with her or do stuff with her. And she got busy. And, when she got busy at work or something, I got a little sad. Not angry at her, just sad because, stuff happens. But that's basically what this movie looked like to me. Like this kid wanting to spend time with his mom, who looks like she's in an important position in the government. And apparently she's in charge of surveying the United States. And this kid being by himself, and he's wearing like a scout uniform, a Boy Scout uniform. He gets a little sad when he calls her or tries to call her and she doesn't pick up because she's busy trying to figure out why there's these aliens or some type of weird object coming down to Earth. And for some reason, out of the blue, this alien abducts Elio and beams him up. And all of a sudden, Elio is a part of his mom's life. Work life, should I say. He's always been part of her life, but is a part of her work life and has become the focal point of her job. Get him back to Earth. Well, actually, I don't remember if he was actually shown to her to be abducted, but I just think it was a cool thing to show me. And obviously there's going to be some aliens he bumps into, goes on a little journey with her, with them and everything. But I think that this is going to be a good movie for Disney. I don't know if he has a father or not, but all I see is a mother and a son. And I think it'll speak to people. I think it'll be a nice movie, almost like the level of The Good Dinosaur or the level of Onward, where it's just a heartwarming movie. And I'm not saying the animation was out of this world, but it looked nice, and I'm excited for it. I think it'll be a good movie. And maybe it could be something that could be like an underrated good movie film like Ratatouille. I still feel like people sleep on Ratatouille. That's also another one of my favorite Disney movies, but I think it's going to be good. Get your calendars ready just in case for that announcement. It's coming to us in summer of 2025, and I'm excited. Now let's get into the next one. Now, this is a TV series that will be coming December 3rd. It's called The Skeleton Crew, and it's a part of Star Wars. It's a part of the Star Wars universe. I don't know how What it's linked to, I heard that apparently it's part of the New Republic era. My bad, not New Public. But it's coming on Disney Plus. It's about 4 kids that are lost in the galaxy, trying to get home, and a Force user named Jadna Nawood, I think I pronounced that right, who's going to be played by Jude Law, is going to be helping them. Heard that it's inspired by films like E.T. and Hook. And if that's true, it could be a good movie. But on the streak that Star Wars is on right now, you never know. Now, we did think yesterday, as I'm recording this, an announcement went out, and it's been going crazy on Twitter, that there will not be an Acolyte Season 2. And I'm on the bus saying I'm glad there's not going to be a Season 2, because I did not like The Acolyte. Now, first episode, interesting. The Twin Arc. Remember seeing a cinematic version of the Knights of the Old Republic talking about these 2 twins, one good, one bad, or one turning to the dark side, the other one stayed. And I thought that's what they were going to do. And honestly, they kind of did. I'm still confused on what's going on. But the first episode, get these twins. You got one of them going on a little massacre spree of killing all these Jedi. A couple of them. He only killed one Jedi in the first episode. Second episode, killed another Jedi. Made him feel guilty for what he did, and he committed suicide. The third episode, flashback. And I was like, what are we doing? First 2 episodes, you got me right now. You got me interested in the story. You got these twins doing their thing. Third episode, flashback. I'm like, well, you already told us what happened. Why do I need to see all of it? Like, if it was the first, 5 or 10 minutes of the episode 3, I would have been like, okay, not bad. Show me what's up. But the whole episode, I did not need that. So I got drowned out a little bit there. Fourth episode, it's continuing the story, but once again, we're getting more and more towards what we're trying to do in a slow way. It was too slow for me. The 5th episode, man, I loved it. I loved that 5th episode. I was like, yo, this may be some of the coolest fight scenes I've seen in a while. Also, the first episode, the first scene, that was a cool fight too, but, first and 5th episode, cool fights. Ending was cool to the 5th episode too. 6th episode, it was okay. It wasn't, crazy, but I thought it was okay. I was like, all right, you won me over, don't kill it now. 7th episode, flashback, and I'm like, are you kidding me? And it's, instead of the flashback of what happened, it shows us a flashback of what was going on on the Jedi side. And it just annoyed me seeing that, because I was like, why didn't you just show us bits and pieces of this in the first or third episode, whichever you're going to do it? I didn't need to see a whole episode about this. So that killed me too. Then the 8th and final episode. Oh my goodness. Man. Now, if you were going to spend $160 million on a TV show, you got to at least make, the finale insane. That wasn't insane. That was just a whole bunch of weird stuff, whole bunch of, I don't know. It wasn't good. It was very random, a lot of stuff didn't make any sense. I'm still trying to figure out how the twin sisters, I forgot their names again, how they were able to mirror their fight styles, even though they both learned from totally different people. There were some sequences where it was like, okay, that's a cool little fight, but it doesn't make sense that they're able to mirror each other, in my opinion. Exact fighting styles. They learned from 2 different people. But, then we get a whole fight scene between the villain, I guess, of the show, and then, I don't even know who's the villain now, because they made one of the Jedi seem like he was the villain. Then they killed him, and I was like, oh my gosh. But I thought that the thing that I actually did like was the bleeding into a lightsaber scene. Everybody was saying, oh, what? She changed the lightsaber? Yeah, well, this happened. If you played Star Wars Jedi Survivor, somebody bled their lightsaber and then, changed the color of the lightsaber. If you guys don't know, bleeding means changing a lightsaber, I don't know, to a red kyber crystal. I don't know. Anyways, I thought that was cool. I thought it was cool. I just don't feel like it should have been enough to transfer her to the dark side, if I'm being for real. I don't feel like it was too much motivation to change her to the dark side. And then you have her twin sister, who was part of the dark side, and then all of a sudden it's changing the light side. I don't know. It was super confusing. And then now we're learning that apparently Jedi can... I mean, obviously we know they can mess with people's minds and make them forgetful, but I didn't know they could take away their whole, like, memory of what happened in the last 2 weeks, I want to say. Maybe there was 2 weeks or a week of what was going on. Then you finish the show, and you get a glimpse of Darth Plagueis, or Plagueis, whatever his name is, like at the very end of the show, and then the next cameo you get is a second of Yoda's backhead. Now, then it ends. Cut to the credits, but I don't know. It just... I didn't like it. I didn't like the mood. I didn't like the flow, and there wasn't really a flow. It was all over the place. Like, those 2 throwback episodes just killed me. Sometimes I like throwbacks, but you can't have it... Like, you gotta... For this, you gotta go in. Like, for me. People were trying to say on Twitter, there was so much potential, like yada yada yada. I'm like, bro, in this day and age, people are striving for perfection with TV shows and movies. You can't count on a sequel. I feel like Netflix has taught us you can't count on a sequel. Can't even count on a 3rd season sometimes for these TV shows and movies. You gotta go in and just make it perfect. You gotta have that John Wick mentality where every movie has gotta be your best work. Because you never know if there's gonna be a cancellation out of anywhere. You never know if there's gonna be maybe an actor dies or something that screws everything up. You gotta make the best of what you have at that moment. You can't count on a second season or a sequel. And people trying to say that, oh well, like it was built up for the next thing. Like if you have all these people not too interested in it and your ratings are low, I mean, that's what you gotta expect. Like, once again, the twin thing I still think was interesting, but it was just way too all over the place for me. Like, it just didn't make too much sense. But yeah, with Skeleton Crew, if they can make it good and funny, maybe even add a little Stranger Things flair to it, even though I have a love-hate relationship with Stranger Things, it'll probably be a good show. But until then, I'm just gonna wait and watch it because you never know. But yeah, now moving on to the next Disney Plus show that was announced. Agatha All Along. Now, I actually reacted to the trailer for Agatha All Along if you want to see it on PC3 Nation YouTube channel. But man, it actually looks pretty cool. Now, I'm not really all for witchcraft and demonic stuff sometimes. I mean, I love Harry Potter, don't get me wrong, but this has some hella demonic stuff in it. But I still feel like it was super cool. Find it funny that it's not coming out in October. I feel like it would have been perfect, but you know, the release schedule for movies and TV shows that are horror, thriller, or whatever, coming close to Halloween, it's all over the place, because then you also have Christmas movies coming out in November that I feel like would have been good in December, like Red One. But, you know, it looks good. It looks good, in my opinion. Now, if you all haven't seen WandaVision, spoiler alert, this show is going to be about the villain or antagonist of WandaVision. I apologize. Somebody told me that there's a difference between villain and antagonist, and I was like, okay, got you. But this is going to be about her. And from what I saw in the trailer, she's forming a coven of Agatha, a team of witches to stop somebody, I believe, or help her get out of that realm that Wanda or the Scarlet Witch trapped her in. And at first I wasn't too excited about this show. Like, I was not a huge fan of WandaVision. In my opinion, I think that her, like, from what I saw in Avengers Age of Ultron, her making it that her kids that she just made up are more important than her brother that she had a strong connection with, honestly kind of annoyed and offended me. Like, if you guys saw Age of Ultron, they were like inseparable. Her and Pietro, they were inseparable. So then when I'm watching WandaVision, and I understand that her and Vision fell into love, and in the show they have these kids, and then there's that crazy fight scene at the end. I just don't like the way they did Pietro in that show. Like, it's a slap in the face to me, because her brother meant a lot to her. And her brother's death meant a lot to us, too, because he saved Hawkeye, and it was a sad death. I still think they shouldn't have killed him. But I think it gave her strength, made her stronger. And she gave the killing blow to Ultron, crushed his heart. And it was crazy. But, until then, I just wasn't a WandaVision fan after that. But I do think that this may do well. Hopefully there's some crazy cameos in it, because, maybe there's going to be a Doctor Strange little reference. Maybe Doctor Strange will help him. I don't know. I'm not too much of a comic book person to know what's going on, but I think it will be good. And I think that the WandaVision fandom is large enough that they will support it and it will blow up. But yeah, I'm going to go in and watch this series with an open mind. Without a doubt. Open mind without a doubt. I'm not going to judge it too much. I'm going to just go with it. I'm going to try. But anyways, it's coming out September 18th. Mark your calendars. Disney Plus. Probably on Wednesdays. Probably every Wednesday after that. But just mark your calendars until then. On to the next movie. Now, this one, I've been waiting on this for a minute, because I am a 2000s baby, and I loved the first version of the Fantastic Four. I loved it. I thought it was cool. I don't care what y'all say. That, everybody, all those characters, the person who played the Thing, Mr. Fantastic, Invisible Girl, and Johnny, Chris Evans, who we actually saw, spoiler alert, in Deadpool Wolverine, come back as Johnny Storm. I love that series. I love Rise of the Silver Surfer. I loved it all. And, the fact that they're making a new one, at first I was getting a little PTSD from Fan-Fortastic or Fantastic, whatever the heck it was, with Michael B. Jordan as the Human Torch. I did not like that movie. I don't know what the plan was for that movie, but it wasn't good. Wasn't good at all. That was the first Marvel movie or whatever it was to actually get me bored. Just wasn't good. I like Miles Teller as Mr. Fantastic, though. Hot take. I thought he was cool. Thought he was geeky and nerdy and quiet and funny. Thought he would be good as Mr. Fantastic. But every other character in that movie, little bit not too mad about Michael B. Jordan playing the Human Torch, but it was kind of weird seeing that he had a crush on the sister, even though she was adopted. I don't know. It's a whole complicated thing. That's how much I don't remember that movie. But the Thing and Invisible Girl in that movie, they had no personality at all. None. It was all boring. I don't even remember who played Victor Von Doom or Dr. Doom in that movie, but his hallway scene was cool. That's the only thing that we could say in that movie. His hallway scene was cool. That's all we remember. But the fact that we're getting another Fantastic Four, it's going to be called Fantastic Four First Steps, releasing in theaters on July 25th. I am beyond excited for this movie, man. I am beyond excited for this movie. At first, I wasn't sure about Joseph Quinn playing Johnny Storm. I was part of that group saying, no, he shouldn't be playing Johnny Storm. But watching, I believe it was, what was the movie where I saw like a glimpse of him and I was like, okay, he can play Johnny Storm. Maybe it was a Quiet Place. I saw him with short hair. I was like, okay, he could probably play Johnny Storm. I'm just excited for this movie. I'm excited for everything we're hearing. This movie is going to, and I've been preaching this since the whole multiverse thing started, with Marvel. They should have been doing a mix of the Fox Marvel universe and the MCU and just giving us two different universes. Like, that's what I thought they were going to do. Like, No Way Home, we get Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. And you're thinking, okay, that's two other universes outside the MCU. They could do something with that. Then we get Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. And the one hint we get is, I forgot his name, French name, but anyways, we get Professor X from the first X-Men movies, and we're hype. We're seeing John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is insane. We're seeing Blackguard Bolt again in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, and that was in another version of an MCU TV series. And we're like, yo, right when I saw that, I'm like, yo, they should make different universes, do a little build-up to Secret Wars, and in order for us to care about these characters, show us these different universes and these different movies. Like say a movie, like for example, if they say Blade, they announce a Blade movie, or if they announce a Nova movie, don't tell us what universe they're in. Don't tell us they're in 616. Tell us that you're making a movie, and then in that movie, show us what universe they're in. And that's what they're doing with this. People who don't really know movies too much, the average moviegoer, is probably going to be watching that trailer soon for the Fantastic Four First Steps, and they're going to be like, okay, this is a prequel to the 616 MCU. But the coolest thing that they announced is this movie is going to be in the 1940s in another universe. I love that idea, man. I love that idea. I think that is perfect. I've been preaching that. They're even doing it for the Eyes of Wakanda. It's going to be taking place on the Sacred Timeline. In order for this to work, you need to show us, like, going towards Secret Wars, going toward Avengers Doom, you need to show us a couple of these different universes and a couple of these different characters that are going to be coming in. Like, the Fox universe with Deadpool and Wolverine. We saw that's still possible. We saw that they could be playing a huge part in Secret Wars. Just build on that. Like, there's still a multiversal story you can still salvage from this. And people keep saying, oh, like, let's stop it. But they could still do it. And I think this is the MCU's moment with the Fantastic Four, Daredevil Born Again, just different things. The Fox universe that you can build on to make the Secret Wars story go crazy. That's my opinion on it. Maybe you guys have a different thought process on it, but I don't think the multiverse has gotten that bad. I think we've gotten a couple of cool things, especially with Loki. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it. And there will be a Silver Surfer in it, and the villain is going to be Galactus. Now, I know everybody's going to be like, oh, this is just Rise of the Silver Surfer again, but I think they can do this one right. They can definitely do this one right. But also, once again, just because I feel like they deserve a shout out, and also because I saw Johnny Storm in Deadpool and Wolverine. Shout out to the OG Fantastic Four movie. I loved suits were cool, casting was perfect. Shout out to them for starting it. But anyways, let's move on to the next MCU announcement that we got that I actually mentioned earlier, Daredevil Born Again, which is technically Daredevil Season 4 from Netflix. Now, if you guys don't know, there was, I don't know if it's still on Netflix or not, but there was a Daredevil show that had 3 seasons, and everybody loved it. Everyone loved it. I honestly wasn't on the fan bus for the show at first. I was like, whatever about it, but they're bringing it back. They're bringing it back, and the Punisher is going to be in it. The OG characters, I think his name was Foz or something. I forgot. The lawyers who were helping Charlie Cox or Daredevil in the Netflix show are going to be returning. Kingpin is returning. A lot of people are returning. There's some new characters. I heard that White Tiger is going to be in it, and I'm happy because I love the Ultimate Spider-Man, and I love White Tiger in that. I think it's going to be her father, though, or the person who was in charge, like a male White Tiger. I think there's 2 of them. But either way, this is going to be good. Seeing Daredevil and She-Hulk, And seeing Daredevil and Spider-Man No Way Home, I actually was hyped. That made me want to finish the shows. And I love season 3, though. Season 3 of Daredevil I actually did like, but season 1 and 2 I was a little on the fences for. It was a lot of build up, in my opinion. And it was somewhat boring, but I am actually excited for this. I think it's going to be good. I think it's what the MCU needs. Street level heroes. Take it back down to earth. Take it back down to the ground. Give people back what they loved. Also, the Punisher show. I finished season 1. I actually really liked it. I'm not going to say love, but I really liked it. Season 2 is going pretty good so far. But I can see why people love these Netflix shows. I can see why. I got to get on to Jessica Jones. I liked Luke Cage season 1. Luke Cage season 2, it's taken me a second. I'm not too fond of it so far, but excuse me, I will finish them. I finished Iron Fist season 1 and 2. Season 1 was better. Season 2 was terrible, in my opinion. Or not terrible, it was just boring. But I think Daredevil Born Again is going to go crazy. Go absolutely crazy. But just be ready, y'all. Be ready. March 1st, it releases on Disney Plus. March 1st. Now on to the next one, which actually is my favorite announcement of the whole D23 announcements. And that is Avatar 3, Fire and Ash. Oh my gosh. I love that title. So we have Avatar, number 1. We have Avatar The Way of Water, number 2. And I love Avatar The Way of Water. As we're speaking, I'm wearing an Avatar The Way of Water t-shirt. But this title, Avatar Fire and Ash, and just saying I'm definitely getting the t-shirt for this movie. I can't wait for this movie, man. Like, the first Avatar, incredible. The second Avatar, Avatar The Way of Water, incredible. Avatar Fire and Ash, oh my gosh. This movie is going to bang. I don't care what any haters say. Y'all tried to say it after we didn't get 12 years of Avatar content. It came out after 12 years, made $2 billion, went back to back making $2 billion each for movies. It's a $4 billion franchise right now. I know it ain't as big as the MCU, but just think about it. The MCU, I think they just hit 60 billion or whatever. They made a lot of money, but think about it. The MCU has like 60 movies right now, movies and TV shows combined. And they're high up there on the box office, whatever, with Avengers and all that. But Avatar is competing with the MCU with just 2 movies. Just 2 movies. Now imagine if they were releasing content at the pace of the MCU. You know how crazy it would blow up? You know how crazy it would blow up? You know how hard it is for a first-time movie to make $2 billion? It's hard to make $300 million in the box office. $2 billion back to back. There's something here, man. James Cameron, Avatar was already a game changer when you watched it in theaters. It was already a game changer. But Avatar The Way of Water, man, that changed the game again. I can't look at visual effects the same for different movies ever. I just remember watching the first Avatar movie in 3D, and I just couldn't watch another 3D movie the same again. Because I would watch a couple of 3D movies regularly, like Spy Kids, this and that, and I'd be like, this is cool. But after watching Avatar for the first time and watching in 3D, I never watched the 3D movie again. I tried it with Spider-Man No Way Home in 3D. I couldn't do it. But then when I watched Avatar The Way of Water, I took it a step further. In 4D, that is my favorite movie experience ever. My favorite. Spider-Man No Way Home is up there because seeing Tobey and Andrew on the big screen again was insane. I've never had my heart pumping that crazy in my life. But seeing Avatar The Way of Water in 4D, unbelievable experience. I highly suggest, if Avatar The Way of Water re-releases in theaters again, ladies and gentlemen, please, with all means, find a 4D theater close to you, or maybe even just 10 minutes away, anything. Try to find that 4D theater, buy tickets, sit down, put your glasses on, and experience Avatar The Way of Water in 4D. Unbelievable experience. Now, talking about Avatar Fire and Ash, I'm sorry, I went into my little tangent. This movie is going to show us the bad of Pandora. And it's not like the bad where, Jake Sully and Neytiri are going to be evil. They're going to show us actual people who are bad on Pandora. And Discussing Film, by the way, a lot of the news I get is from Discussing Film. It's a Twitter account on Twitter. James Cameron actually explained a little bit of why he chose Avatar Fire and Ash as the title for Avatar 3. And he said, fire can represent hatred, violence, trauma, possible misuse of power. Ash represents the aftermath of all of that energy, which is grief and having to live with what you've done. So hearing that, we already know it's about to get crazy, deep. People are going to die. And I'm already guessing it's going to be Jake Sully. If it's Neytiri, I'm going to lose my mind. If we lose another kid, I'm going to lose my mind too. Because in Avatar The Way of Water, when his eldest son died, oh man, I felt bad, bro. But it gave us one of the coolest scenes ever with Neytiri, who put her mother instincts on and went nuts. But that already tells you what the stakes are with this movie. And just to let y'all know, it's coming out next December on the 19th in 2025 in theaters. And there will be Ash people that will be introduced of the Na'vi. Ash people will wear specific types of masks representing their tribe inspired from traditional Native American ghost dances. And these will be the people that I believe will be either antagonists or the actual villains in this movie, getting in the way of the main characters. And I did hear a while ago that the narration will be changing. I don't know how soon, but I know that because in the first two movies, I believe Jake Sully was the narrator. But in these next 3 movies, I believe that it's going to change. I believe the son is going to be the narrator for this movie, or the daughter. It's going to be one or the other. But James Cameron got himself a gold mine right here. And James Cameron, we all know he's one of the kings of perfection when it comes to movies. Like Terminator Judgment Day, Titanic, you name it. He does not miss. He does not miss. But either way, Avatar 3, I got into a huge argument with my friends. Huge argument. They'd ask me, what's an underrated, but going crazy? And this was before Avatar The Way of Water came out. What's an underrated series? I say Avatar. Avatar without a doubt. They can't miss with Avatar. And everybody was going at me. They're like, it's only one movie and they're just tree huggers. Yada. I'm like, bro, it's such a beautiful movie and the characters are so cool. And I'm telling you, when Avatar The Way of Water comes out, you guys are going to understand why. And they were going in saying it's not that good, it's not all that, yada, yada, yada. And they instantly changed their minds right when The Way of Water came out. They watched it and they came back to me and they're like, Philip, I can see what you're talking about. Because I'm telling you, Avatar, like when this third movie comes out, guys, think about it. Name all the trilogies that have never, like, that have had a good first, had a good second, and had a good third, and made at least $1 billion each. At least. Tell me. And for those who are saying The Dark Knight Rises, a lot of people didn't, for some reason, which surprises me, did not like Batman Begins. They liked The Dark Knight. And they liked The Dark Knight Rises, but they did not like Batman Begins. Another trilogy. Lord of the Rings. I don't even know Lord of the Rings made $1 billion. Everybody loves it, but I don't think it made $1 billion. Like, as a trilogy. So think about it. Avatar 1, $2 billion. Avatar The Way of Water, $2 billion. Avatar 3. I think it's going to make $1 billion no matter what, but I think it'll probably be 1.5 because this is going to be a little more negative. So I think it's going to make 1.5 billion. I'm going to say 1.5 billion at least. But either way, I'm excited. My calendar is definitely marked for December 19th, 2025. And I'm going to see y'all in theaters for it. But now let's get on to these last two movies real quick. And I'm going to talk about this one and then get into the next one. But we have Freaky Friday 2. And I believe the title that they're going with is Freakier Friday. Now, I honestly am not mad about this announcement. I actually like it because Freaky Friday with Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis was funny. That was so stinking funny. I watched that movie a million times with my family, and we loved it. We thought that was one of the coolest movies. So now, in this movie, Manny Jacinto, I'm not for sure if I said that right, I apologize. He played in The Acolyte. He was one of the villains or antagonists in the show. I don't know. Maybe even hero. I don't know. But he will be playing Anna's new husband in this movie. And I believe they're going to be switched again. Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan. I'm not totally sure. But they're going back to their roots. More from the original cast will be showing up in the film. Mark Harmon, Chad Michael Murray, Christina Vidal Mitchell, Haley Hudson, Lucille Song, Stefan Tobolowsky, and Rosalind Chow will be back in this movie. And I don't know, just give me another funny older version of Freaky Friday. Like, it was just a cool movie. This rock star daughter and her uptight mom, one who's a rebel, one who's more about control, switching bodies. And I know there was already something like this, but let me remind you, that was the first movie I saw that dealt with the whole switching minds and switching bodies thing. And I thought it was super cool and funny. The fact that we're getting a sequel to it, I think it's cool for the younger generation to see. I think it will be incredibly funny because Jamie Lee Curtis is super funny. I don't know if I haven't seen any recent Lindsay Lohan movies or shows, but they did show that ad of Mean Girls with the OG cast from the original movie, and she still probably got a little pep in her step, but I think this movie's going to be good, and I'm really excited for it. All it says here is it's releasing sometime in theaters in 2025, so maybe it'll come out soon, but mark your calendars just in case when that announcement comes out, because it may be pretty good. Maybe. I'm going to say it'll make like maybe $300 million or $200 to $300 million range in theaters or in the box office. But just be ready, y'all. Now, let's get into our final announcement that I actually really liked. And that is Tron 3, which is going to be called Tron Ares. This movie will be releasing October 12th, 2025. And that makes me sad because I really wanted it to come out this year. But Jeff Bridges is returning. Jared Leto will star as Ares, highly sophisticated AI. Nine Inch Nails will be composing the soundtrack. I don't know who they are. I've never listened to anything they've put out, but soon I will. And yeah, we're just returning to the grid. I'm actually one of the fans who loved Tron Legacy. I loved it. I thought it was super cool. I played the video game, or the Wii video game, Tron something, I forgot. I love the TV show, the animated TV show, Tron Uprising. I love both of the movies. I thought it was just a cool idea. It's a cool world. Light cycles, disc battles, you name it. Thought it was super cool. I was sad to see that not a lot of people shared the same mindset as me. They thought it was weird. They thought it was stupid. And honestly, they thought it was boring. But to me, I thought it was super cool. I'm still shook that they're making a Tron 3 because both Tron and Tron Legacy had disappointing box office records. But I'm a fan. I hope that this will be the one that actually corrects itself. They've had 2 tries. Third time's the charm. And from what I know, from what we learned, or from what I read about the plot, it's going to be a mix of the grid and the real world, where this AI is going to try to be seeping into the real world, trying to mess with it, I guess. Just do some terrible things, but I'm excited, and I hope that they can mix it up a bit. Give us something that we won't forget, or just make it good for the general audience. Make it so that people enjoy watching it. Make it so that this will be a box office buster or something. I just want it to do well. I'm a fan of Tron, and I need this. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow Film on Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, and soon to be Twitch. And I'll catch you guys on the next episode. Coming soon. Take it easy, y'all.